Let's see what's currently happening. You are seeing futures down though. We're down about 43 points. And we are at the day's low for futures. So let's just wait for a few people to join in and then we can begin. But it's not looking good. So we're down about 50 points and falling at the day's low on futures. So that's that. Anyways, we go ahead and just, you guys should be able to see a poll as well. Go and hit that. Ah, yep, pretty bad. Markets are taking a hit, at least for today. I mean, it's not really a hit though, it's just a bit. Still have to wait for markets to open to actually figure out what's going to happen here. See what's happening with Tesla. We're supposed to be getting the numbers coming for Tesla as well pretty soon. We got the car sales numbers. It's currently flat, just up about 0.3%. It was down about 5% yesterday. What we have news is JP Morgan cuts Tesla's Q2 delivery forecast to 360,000 vehicles. Let's see. It should come out anytime soon. We're going to wait to see what's happening there as well. I'm just going to wait for everyone to get the link and then eventually everyone can come through. I think the job numbers tomorrow is going to be more important. So we are going to be live for the job numbers tomorrow for sure. I'm going to see. So this is actually, I'm going to put in most of the stuff that I read here. So all of you can then see it as well. But as of now, you should be able to see something where the ADP National Employment Report says that private sector employment has shed 33,000. So Sonam Kumari, what's up? How's it going? What do you want me to join? What am I supposed to join? I don't know. You're saying join, please. I don't know what you're supposed to want me to join. Anyways, go ahead and subscribe, Sonam. Be a part of the family. Okay. Let me see what else is going on. You want me to pin that message? Is that what you want me to do? I don't know. Anyways, Sonam Kumari is killing it. Okay. What are we down 52 points? ADP data has been bad. Okay. I will support you. I mean, how do you want me to support you though? Layoffs continue to be rare. We are seeing hesitancy to hire and reluctance to replace departing workers led to job losses last month. Still, the slowdown in hiring has yet to disrupt pay growth. Okay, let's see how that works out. Let me put this in for you guys so you guys know that that's not coming from me. That's coming from the ADP report itself, which basically comes in and says that layoffs continue to be rare. So we're not seeing unemployment picking up, but what we're seeing is there's no form of hiring happening at all. There is just no form of hiring. Anyways, so that's not a good sign. Anyways, welcome to Signal and Sentiment, everybody. Nice to see most of you guys in. You had Tesla and Musk basically going at it each other. We call them daddy and mommy. They're fighting. So the household is not doing pretty well because both of them have been fighting. But it is what it is for now. So we're going to be live again tomorrow for non-farm payroll. So make sure you subscribe and then get that bell notification because when I go live, you're going to be able to see when I come live. And then we're going to go through. I'm going to see if Sean can join in tomorrow as well. But I'm going to make sure that tomorrow's data that comes out, we're going to be live at that moment. So you're getting unemployment, you're getting jobless claims, you're getting non-farm payrolls, you're getting everything under the scene. What else are we getting tomorrow, though? Tomorrow's a big one, right? So we're expecting non-farm employment to be falling 19,000 jobs. So from the 139K, we're going to drop to 120. Average hourly earnings from point 0.4 is going to drop to point 0.3. Unemployment claims is also going to be picking up from 236,000 to 239,000. And you're seeing the unemployment rate pick up from 4.2 to 4.3. So let's see how that goes. I'm not sure if that's going to work out pretty well. Lala said, hi, how's it going, buddy? How's everything? What's happening? Okay. I actually want to go and see what is happening with Tesla at the moment. So Starbucks, for some reason, was up about 3.59% yesterday and is up almost another percent today. And you have a weak market. Please remember that. As of yesterday, we were down about 0.8% on the Nasdaq, but Starbucks was up about 3.59%. Nike was up about 3.34%. Most of the other stocks were taking a shit, so they were falling really badly. Anyways, let me just go and figure some things out here. Let me see. Do we have any more data that's coming out right now? Now we got 9:30 manufacturing PMI, so that's about it. So nothing coming out substantial other than the ADP that came out. Remember, the number we were expecting was almost 100,000 positive. We lost 33,000 jobs. So you have a negative print. It's not that good, not that great a scene. Always remember that. Negative job data and the previous numbers, which were earlier at, it got revised down to 29,000. So that's a bad number. By no measure is that a decent number. Anyway, let me see if my internet's working or it's not working. I don't know. Can you guys hear me there? Okay. Maybe it's just the web page. Yeah, so we don't have anything crazy other than the non-farm employment change, which came through negative 33,000, expecting 99,000. It was a shit number. You should be able to see that. Let me actually pin that message because that's the most important one for today. Rest of the market, we haven't really been seeing that much actually go through. But let's see. Anyways, there is a new video that I did put out. Uh, can I actually go down and do something about that? Maybe I could give you guys the link for that. I actually came in long earlier into the live. I was actually supposed to be doing this half an hour later, but I was early, so I said, let's go. Let's see what's up with everyone, what's happening with everyone. Okay, I'm gonna try getting the link so I can then show you guys that link and then you guys can go in and what's the link? Yeah, there you go. I got the link. All I have to do is find you guys here. Okay, there you go. So that's the link. That's a new video that's come out today. It talks about Warren Buffett's circle of competence. So have a look, see if it's of interest to you guys. It's about 5 minutes, so it's not too much. Go ahead and watch it. Let me put the link for the live stream also on my Twitter. So then with that, we should be able to get some viewers in. Yeah, the feud between Musk and Trump, right? That's the one that I'm more interested in to see if I do get an opportunity to go in and buy Tesla. If I could actually pick it up, that would actually be fascinating. I'm not sure if that actually happens, but let's see. At this moment, I'm not looking to see if that does actually come to fruition, but let's see. So we have some news. Let's go over one by one all of the news. The current news that we're getting is private employers shed 33,000 jobs in June. Job losses in professional and business services. Guys, can you hear me, right? Yeah. Education and health services led the decline. What's this? Breaking news: UK government borrowing costs spike amid tensions in ruling Labour Party. Okay, that's fine. We'll figure that later. Leisure and hospitality and manufacturing showed gains. So professional and business services, education and health services. So it's basically government jobs that have actually been slashed. So that's actually now hitting the ADP numbers. But remember, this is private employment, so it's not really going to be having that much of an effect. Let's actually go in and see where are we seeing this fall actually taking place. So smaller companies, right? Places where employees have been 1:19. So wherever in places where you have less than 20 employees, that's why you're seeing a drop of 29,000. Large companies with more than 500 plus employees have been having 30,000 increase in jobs. You are also seeing job losses in 20 to 49 employees, 250 to 499 employees. So it's not a good number at all. It's actually pretty bad. Construction, manufacturing has picked up, services picked up, information picked up. Financial activities is down 14,000, but professional and business services down 56,000. Education and health services down 52,000. So that's actually been pretty bad. Anyways, to hell with the ADP report now. Let's move on for this. Let me just get what they're saying. Is there anything that is worthwhile talking about this? Nope. So we move on. Okay, so no information more, at least no news-based data coming out right now. So news as of now, Trump is expected to meet with House GOP lawmakers today. So let's see how that goes. We are getting Rivian's news. Rivian's produced 5,979 vehicles and delivered 10,000, aligning with guidance. Let's actually go see what's happening with Rivian stock. RIVN, it's flat. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Anyways, forget it. ADP report. This is Nick Timorous from Wall Street Journal that comes out and says ADP reports private payroll lost 33,000 jobs in June. May was revised down to a gain of 29,000 from an initially reported gain of 37,000. So for May, we actually lost 8,000 jobs, even though we actually gained 37, but it's been revised down to 29 instead of 37. So you're actually getting Liberation Day hard data coming out, which is not actually a good sign. We are actually seeing this play out pretty badly. It's not doing pretty well. Let's go ahead. ADP contracted in June. The main reason for the gap with the BLS measure of private payrolls is education and health services. ADP has the specific industry contracting since February, while BLS is showing steady growth. So, hmm. So I think non-farm payroll tomorrow should be pretty decent, right? We should be seeing better numbers in non-farm payroll, so we should be fine about that. That's not going to be too much of an issue for us. The numbers coming in from ADP, which is our private payrolls, that's actually taken a hit, right? Negative 39,000 is not a good number. 33,000, sorry. But let's see what happens. Microsoft has been reiterated a buy. Mm, I'm trying to see if you have more news that comes out for today. Anything else that's worth even looking at? Apple reportedly moving its foldable phone into the prototyping phase with suppliers last month as it moves towards a 2026 launch. So we should be getting a foldable phone from the iPhone pretty much coming in 2026. Okay. trying to see. Let's see. We're going to get a lot of news. So I have a lot of news that I have to go through anyway. So we're going to go through that. Job cut notices in the Challenger report. Remember, the Challenger report is what comes and gives us a large part of the government data. So that's what we look at also. It's essentially been flat in June from their year ago levels. It's up 39% from a year ago in Q2 and down from much higher levels in Q1. Glass half empty or glass half full, depending on which benchmark you want to use, right? I would say that's what it is. At the moment, nothing to lose sleep over. So let's see what happens. A lot of people are saying Bitcoin's apparently expected to reach new all-time highs in the second half now. Maybe, I don't know, quite possible. It's pretty close to all-time highs, so it's not going to be that much of an issue. US first half job cuts highest since 2020. Challenger reports US companies announced 744,000 job cuts in the first half of 2025, the most since 2020. June cuts total nearly 48K, flat year over year, but down 49%. Retail layoffs jumped to 55%. So, again, that's been hitting. Mm, okay, so Netflix has held conversations with Spotify about partnering on a number of projects such as music awards show. Wow, or a live concert series. I don't know how that's going to happen. Live concert. So, are they going to expect people to come through on Spotify? Like, I would guess if people want to watch Spotify, would they come on to, I don't know, would be kind of weird to see what happens there. Because I'm not sure if you're going to see people come in on Netflix to watch that, or people going to be coming on Spotify to watch that. But irrespective of whatever that is, it doesn't look. It is fascinating to actually see that happen. All right. Okay, let's get on with more news. Needham on a firm says reiterates hold, no price target adjustment. So their price target as of now is maintained at hold. They say possible transition of Walmart to Klarna or OnePay may shift volume away from a firm. I don't know how much of that is true because the firm still has a lot of business with the other guys, and it's not even that much of it. I think it's 2% or 3%, so it's not really too much. Anyways, higher mix of non-interest bearing transactions could pressure RLTC margins. FY26 top line reset if Walmart volume shifts. Short-term earnings volatility expected as estimates recalibrate. So this is what the analyst comes out and says. What they're saying is they're revisiting their thoughts on a firm given the near-term risk reward as well as the potential long-term P&L. If Walmart fully transitions to Klarna in the coming year, in the near term, we believe top line could be reset lower for FY26 as we believe some Walmart volume will shift to Klarna. Okay, let's go see what's happening with our firm. I think it should be, yeah, down about 0.15%, not that much because the analyst has maintained it as a whole. They didn't downgrade it. So yeah, anyways, the Nasdaq took a shit. We're down to about 22,388. As of yesterday, we were around the 22,700 number. Now we're down to 22,300. We are breaking below yesterday's low for the index. I think the ADP number actually took a lot more people by storm because they're starting to see that maybe the hard data is actually getting a bit worse than people expect it to be. Still, we're just down 94, 95 points, 0.5% on NASDAQ. So in total, we're down about 1.5% from an all-time high. And this is also a very healthy pullback. It's not really that much of a worry. I guess even if we go down another 100, 120 points, it's fair game. 22,250 is a number that I would expect us to come and hit, and that's a decent number to actually see on the index. Let me go ahead. Let's see what else is going on in this world. Okay, Adobe has downgrade, so that's going to take a shit. Paramount settled that Trump lawsuit, right? They had that 60-minute lawsuit. They were supposed to be paying about 20 million for it. They got it done for 16 million, so they got a pretty good deal on that. They didn't really have to worry about that. So that's good for them. Mm, mm. Foxconn has reportedly asked hundreds of Chinese engineers and technicians to return home in a move that began about 2 months. That's okay. Cool. One thing we're not able to see is the housing market turn for good, right? That's actually been pretty bad. It's not actually been doing pretty well at all. Tesla delivered 71,599 EVs from its plant in China, up 0.8% YOY. That's the first increase in vehicle deliveries from its Shanghai factory this year. This is what we know as of now. We should be getting the numbers pretty soon. Hmm. Tesla sales have been actually dropping for about 8 months, right? So the fact that it's got its first blip higher, that's actually a good thing, right? They have risen about 0.8%, which is actually a good sign. The fact that you are seeing that happen. Uh, President Donald Trump threatened Japan with tariffs of up to 35%. Japan should be forced to pay 30 to 35% or whatever the number is that we determine, because we also have a very big trade deficit with Japan. I'm not sure we're going to be making a deal. I doubt it with Japan. They're very tough. You have to understand they're very spoiled. This is just plain cinema at this moment. I mean, it is just absolutely plain cinema. I don't know what else it is, but it's just a complete joke at this point of time. We have tariffs today, we don't have them tomorrow, we have them day after, we don't have them day after that. That's what it's come to now. I'm going to put in whatever I think is important so you guys can actually see that happen onto the chat itself. Yeah, so that's currently been happening. As in, he's just decided to put it on Japan. So let's see how that plays out. We got Sean in the house. He says, "My God, this orange guy." Mm, I know. I guess it is what it is. Anyways, most of the stocks are lower. We're down about 72 points on the Nasdaq. Volatility index up about 2.5%. So that's fine. That's not too much. It's nothing too much to really worry about. We don't have more data coming in, so I'm just going to go through all of the news articles that we have. Needham reiterates hold rating on a firm. UK Defense Ministry requests call with US or military aid. So I don't know what that is. Anyways, Tesla shares were up about 1.4%, but for now they are flat. They're up 0.25, which is just less than $1 up. So they've been down 5.34%, so they're not doing pretty well. Mm, I don't know. Bank of England's Taylor says he thinks 5 cuts needed in 2025. What the hell are you talking about? Anyways, Netflix expanding into music competitions, celebrity interviews, and live events as it moves beyond prestige TV. Early talks with Spotify include music awards or concert series. Mm. And it's rebooting Star Search while launching Building the Band next week, hosted by AJ McLean. So let's see how all of this plays out. Let's see what's happening with Netflix and Spotify. They were down yesterday, and Netflix was down about 3.4%, 1,341 down to about $1,300 a share. It's flat today. Again, the market in itself is down, so can't really expect any of them to be flying high. Spotify down about 6% yesterday, flat today, 0.67%. So that's that, guys. Okay, let's go over more news. What else do we have? Tesla sold 191,720 cars in China in Q2, down about 6.8% year over year. Third straight quarterly decline. June sales edged up about 0.8% to 71,000 units, ending an eighth month slide. BYD sold its Chinese rival. BYD ended up selling 377,628 cars. So BYD has been selling 300,000, almost 400,000 cars, while Tesla is selling about 200,000 cars. So that speaks volumes, right? That's good enough for you to know what's happening with Tesla, even though the stock's not down right now because obviously people were expecting it to be worse. Anyways, do I see the market? The market could go down another 0.5%, but I think it'll eventually get bought in. And over the next week or 2 weeks, we should again head higher and start making new highs. If we do go back to 22,240, we will be retesting our old highs. So it's always good to get that done and over with. We have room to fall all the way up to maybe 21,857 so that we can fill in gaps before we head higher. Right. That would be about 2.5% lower, but I would say maybe 22,150 is a level that we can see. So maybe 1.5% lower. That pullback is it's actually great. In the grand scheme of things, it's going to be a great scenario if that happens. Okay, let's see. So there's a question for all of you which says that will Tesla recover this month after the recent drop? So go ahead, check that out. Let me know what do you think. Reuters reports that the US sources say Iran had made preparations to mine the Strait of Hormuz after Israel started conducting strikes. So we're lucky. All of that got solved. Hmm, let's see. Do we have more stuff that's coming in? Manhattan home sales saw their strongest nearly in nearly 2 years. Manhattan home sales jumped 17%. So home sales in most of these country areas, so even in the Hamptons as well as now you're seeing Manhattan, all of these higher priced areas, they've been going pretty well. Sales are up about 17% in Q2, so that's not a bad scene at all. It is the problem that's happening here is it's coming down to areas where the middle class and the lower middle class and the poor are staying there. There's no buying there. It's because a lot of the rich have their money in equities and have been making money through the AI trade and equity trade that they don't really have to worry about buying a house, right? Because they have equity money that's going to easily be there for them to always make money. And that's currently what's happening. So we are seeing that play out pretty well. Yeah, anyways. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and see what else is going on. Okay, let's see if we have more news right now that's coming out as of now. The ADP number was the number that was actually, I decided to come live about half an hour early because I wanted to see what's happening with the ADP number, but the ADP number was an absolute shit show. We got a negative payroll print. Obviously, this is an ADP print, it's not a non farm payroll print. but still down about 33,000 versus consensus estimates of positive 95,000. That's not a good sign. Anyways, we're still just down about 0.34% on the Nasdaq. It's not too much. It's not too much to really worry about. Okay, let's see. Betting markets still currently think two rate cuts in 2025 is the most likely outcome. Poly market currently has three rate cuts as the second most likely outcome, now in front of just one rate cut. So more people are expecting two, but you could also see three is what people are saying. One is looking less likely. Trump says he'll save New York City and make it hot and great. Okay, I think it's quite hot any which ways in New York. Trump says, as President of the United States, I'm not going to let this communist lunatic destroy New York. Rest assured, I hold all the levers and have all the cards. I'll save New York, make it hot and great again, just like I did with the good old USA. So, okay, let's see how that plays out. Mhm. Microsoft Barcelona based game division turning 10%. Okay, let's go in and see some of the stocks and let's see what's happening there. So most of the stocks are down between 0.5% to 1% down. So not too great. It's actually pretty bad. But we're down 80 points on the Nasdaq at the moment, 0.36. So let's see how the day closes. That's going to be a little bit more important than the day beginning. Apple, for that matter of fact, right? Apple's been thinking of partnering with OpenAI or Anthropic. Anthropic's asking for billions of dollars, but basically Apple's missed out on the AI race, and Siri is not able to solve it for them. So the only way they can do anything right now is to go in and try fixing it through any of these tertiary ways of trying to partner up with OpenAI or Anthropic or get them to actually do the stuff that they want. Right. So let's see how that plays out. I wouldn't be buying any of that stuff at this moment just because the story is pretty unclear about what's exactly going to be happening down there with any of these guys, right? So let's see. Do we have some news of the fact that US Vietnam deal might be getting pretty much into the final stages? I mean, the Indian deal is also supposed to be into final stages, but people have just been saying that since quite a while, right? Mm. Anyways, when we get some information, I will let you know about that. At the moment, it doesn't look like we have any on that, but it does look also to me that the US Vietnam trade deal would be pretty much important even for America because a lot of the Nikes, the Lululemons of the world, they get a lot of their stuff made from Vietnam and that comes into America. The fact that America got a deal done with China means I'm pretty likely that it is possible for them to get a deal done with Vietnam as well and to get the ball rolling there. So it wouldn't be that tough for these guys to actually play that out. My guess is it's quite likely that it's going to happen far sooner rather than later. I think the deal with India, the deal with Japan, as well as the deal with Vietnam would go through. The deal with EU also, I think, it'll be tough. Japan and EU would be my second two bets that I would be wondering whether it actually does happen or it doesn't happen, but maybe it does. Right? Who knows? Quite possible if it does. And if it does, you're going to actually see a spike on Nike as well as on Lululemon. Lululemon's been taking a complete shit any which ways quite a while now. AMD is AMD's had a bad week actually. I mean, we've been only 2 days of trading into the week, but it was down about 1.3 on Monday. It's down about 4 yesterday. So pretty bad day yesterday. Down about a 1.16% in pre-market as well. So yeah, that's not a good sign. Let's go see some of this other news that's currently going on. ASML down about 2.4. Let me go over a few more of these things. Google's down about 0.5 as well, so that's not actually doing pretty interestingly. Let me actually see what's happening with Reddit. Okay, Reddit's down about 0.21. Okay, we do have some news. US and Vietnam are set to be near a deal. Let me actually see if I actually have that news for you guys. Okay. If that's the case, you should see Nike and Lululemon actually. United States and Vietnam are close to finalizing a trade agreement that would impose tariffs on Vietnam exports based on the percentage of foreign components they contain. Goods with highest levels of foreign content could face tariffs of 20% or more, while products made entirely in Vietnam may remain at the current 10% rate. So that's actually pretty bullish because what they're saying is that if it's made entirely in Vietnam, we'll give a 10% rate, and 10% rate is a rate that they're okay with because that's the rate that's currently been going on for quite a while, right? And that's the number that's currently floated out by the administration, and it looks pretty much that way. That if we do get that, it does look. Vietnamese Prime Minister right now, whatever his name is, Pham Minh Chinh, whatever it was, expressed optimism that a deal could be reached before July 9th, when a steep 46% tariff is set to take effect. If that does happen, do remember a lot of the textile stocks, as well as a lot of the other company stocks, they are going to be doing pretty well because they have a lot of their production coming through from Vietnam. So let's see how that plays out. Economists warn that even moderate tariffs will strain exporters who already face strict rules of origin checks. So I don't know what's going to happen, but let's see. Let me just finish this, anyways. To ease tensions, Vietnam has pledged to buy more US goods and eliminate some tariffs. Officials have traveled to the US to secure deals and quote major companies like Nike and Gap, which rely heavily on Vietnamese factories. The country's trade surplus with the US, the third largest globally, has made it a target for new tariffs. Okay, Communist Party leader To Lam is expected to visit Washington soon with a delegation to advance trade negotiations. I actually think this one's going to go through. Eventually, they're going to get through the with the Vietnam deal that's going to happen. Remember, that's what I've been saying, right? Nike, Lululemon, Gap. These are the three companies that make a lot of their products. Especially Nike makes a lot of their products in Vietnam. If they can easily get away with a 10% tariff. Again, they booked a $1 billion loss in their books for Q4. Nike said in their earnings call that they're taking a $1 billion hit for tariffs. What happens if it's only a 10% tariff rate, right? And remember, China is exactly at a single digit. I mean, they're expected to get down to a single digit in China for their exports, currently at 16%. If they can get to mid single digits for that, or even like 6-7%, it's actually a great move higher for Nike. They're turning around the business. They have a few things working for them. While at the same time, do remember that if this Vietnam deal happens and you get a 10% rate, the stock might start heading higher. I wouldn't it wouldn't be too much for me to start believing that yeah, we can see Nike go back to three digits. $100 on Nike this year is quite possible. It's a long shot, right? You need to see almost a 40%, 35-40% move on it. 30% at least, right? I would guess it's quite possible that we do see that. It's not rocket science if that happens. Don't hold me to it. Not like I know anything in terms of inside information or whatever it is. But do I see that happening? Quite possible. Could very well be happening, right? Anyways, we got Tesla's numbers. Tesla's second quarter production comes in at 410,000. The estimate was 400,000. Tesla's second quarter Model 3 production was estimated at 383, comes in at 396. Okay, their deliveries were estimated at 389,000. They came in at 384,000. So that's not a good number. That was not what it expected, but it is coming in way better than the rest of the stuff that's coming in. So stock should go higher because you are looking at production picking up, sales picking up. Not It's not as bad as people expected it to be. People were expecting worse numbers. Let me put these numbers out there for you so you guys get to know what's happening. Yup. So you are seeing second quarter deliveries, Model 3 deliveries actually picking up. Estimate pretty close to estimates. Okay. Let me actually go and see if we can get a pre-market on Tesla. It's up about 6.85%. Tesla currently is up 6.5%. So that should be taking the Nasdaq higher. Yeah, the Nasdaq was down about 90. Now we're down about 42. So Tesla has done a help for today. Yesterday it was bad, but it's recovering. It's yesterday's fall. So all of this is great till the time he doesn't get deported, right? Now that shit should happen. Yeah, up about 7% now. So Tesla's actually firing on all cylinders. Let me go ahead. Let me see. Tesla plus 6% in pre-market. Let me put this in for you guys as well. Mm, production of 396,000, deliveries of 373,000. It's actually doing pretty well, right? They produced about 410,000 vehicles. They delivered about 384,000. So not too bad. It's actually pretty okay data. It's not as bad as feared, which is why you're seeing the stock recover that way, right? They were expected to hit about 385,000. They hit 384. They did miss expectations by 1,000 cars, but that's nothing in the grand scheme of things, considering the amount of nonsense that's currently been happening with Elon, right? But then again, do remember it takes one tweet from the big man to actually just say that, okay, this, that, and the other. And you could see the stock reverse all the way back again. So currently it is looking great. It's up about 6.2%. So take that with a pinch of salt at this moment. At this moment, what I suggest everybody should do is take a step back and just wait it out, see what happens with the Tesla and Trump story. If we do get a large fall on Tesla, any of this crap about deportation and all of that, right? Don't buy into any of that. If that actually does even the talk of it happening, right, and makes another 5-10% fall on Tesla, it'll be a good buy to think about at that moment. Not now, but to think about at that moment. At the moment, what you should do is enjoy the cinema, get yourself a tub of popcorn, and watch these tweets coming out and just chill. Because there is absolutely nothing that is currently going on which is worthwhile when it comes to Trump and Elon, right? Mom and dad are fighting, so that's what it is. ADP's June employment report reaffirms what many of us have been pointing out. Small and mid-sized firms which do not have adequate financial depth to absorb tariff-induced price increases are pulling back the pace of hiring. Now, is that? But you are also seeing large companies pick up, so that's playing out as well, right? Anyways, tomorrow is non-farm payroll. We're going to get the unemployment rate, so I am going to be live for that. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have that notification thing on, so when you get the numbers on, you will see me live. So then you can join in with all of your questions and everything that you want to talk about. Anyways, in the pinned comments, you should be seeing one of my videos that's there. It's a 5-minute video on circle of competence. So that is currently a good video for everyone to just go in and watch. Anyways, we got some news about Microsoft laying off about 9,000 employees in latest round of cut. Yeah, maybe they're actually using AI now, so they don't really need those many people anymore. Okay, Tesla says in the second quarter we produced over 410,000 vehicles. Q2 Model 3, they produced about 396,000 production units. Wow. Tesla deployed about 9.6 gigawatts of energy storage products in second quarter. That is a lot. That's actually been picking up pretty heavily. Last quarter, that's Q2 2023, they were at 3.7 gigawatt hertz, right? Now they're hitting 9.4. That was huge. That could potentially be something to watch out. Anyways, I like this news that's gone under the radar, which is US and Vietnam are set to be near a deal on tiered tariffs. If that actually goes through, see, remember, the question here is not whether a deal happens. The question here is whether two of these people can at least sit down and talk. Even if they can build a framework in order to speak later, that is more than enough. Markets will rally based on that information. The thing that we don't want is reciprocal tariffs, so that cardboard stuff to basically come out again, telling us we're going to get 100% and 200% and 40% and 50%, all of that. A 10% tariff rate is currently discounted by the market. It is better if that number sticks at 10%. We don't want it going to 20, we don't want it going to 30, because then the market will start reacting in a bad way. 10% everyone can counter, everyone can adjust with. So that's okay. And I think President Trump, so this is my belief, I think President Trump is okay with a 10% rate. He will penalize some countries just because he has to make a pomp about it. So some of the guys will get penalized with 30%, 40%, but those will be guys who nobody cares about, right? You can tax Albania 500% and none of us care, right? Sorry, Albania, but yeah, it is what it is. In the age of capitalism, no one cares about some place where you have a large trade deficit with America, but it's very minute in terms of numbers, right? You could have a $10 billion trade deficit, but it doesn't matter to America if they charge you a 50% or 100%. Neither does it matter to the markets. So that being said, I actually do expect us to get a tariff extension at the 10% rate for most countries. Most likely, I believe after July 4th, which is over the weekend, you should be seeing India as well as Vietnam go through with the framework to make a deal. Remember, these are all deals to make a deal. It's not a trade deal. The trade deal will happen over the next 2 years. That's not going to happen right now. This is something I was talking about with a close friend of mine today. Is the fact that in exactly a year and a few months, you are going to now enter the midterm elections, and those are usually the most bullish parts of the stock market. The quarter in which the elections happen and 2 quarters post that are usually the most profitable stock market quarters in a 4 year presidential cycle. So always remember that when that scene happens, where you do get the quarter in which the election happens and 2 quarters post that, you must stay invested. Now that's coming in exactly 15 months from now. So I'm not saying you should be building your positions today. You should already be having your positions for a while from now. The sole concept that I'm trying to tell you is that President Trump cannot keep harping on this story of hurting the economy, hurting the stock market, because he wants the bond yields lower and he wants everything else lower. He's not getting his way when it comes to the bond yield, right? He's already got slapped by the stock market pretty bad, because the stock market came in and literally took him by storm when the markets collapsed on April. What I'm trying to say is you will most likely get an extension on tariffs. You will most likely get frameworks to make deals that will happen. By 2025 November, you will also be getting a lot of tariff revenue coming into America. When you get a lot of this tariff revenue coming into America, it is a way for him to tell his people that, look, I told you I'm going to do this, and now I have done it. This is how much money I have made doing it. And now what you should be doing is voting for me, right? So in the midterm elections, you will see the Republicans most likely win again. But in order for them to win again, they got to do these three-levered stools, right? Deregulation, tax cuts. Tax cuts are through. We're going to get that Senate bill cleared any which ways. It's done. The House is going to clear it. He's going to sign it on the 4th of July. Post the 4th of July, you're going to be getting these tariff rates set. Now, we don't really care if some penguin island somewhere gets a 200% tariff. The market's not going to give a damn about that. What the market cares about is a few countries: Europe, the EU, Japan, India, Vietnam, China. These are the 5 ones that they care about. India is most likely going to go through. The Chinese have already gone through. You have three of these left: Vietnam, Japan, and the EU. The EU, I believe, will still go through because they're allies at the same time, so it'll happen. It'll be tough for it to happen. So I believe they'll get an extension. They'll be told you get another 30 days, another 60 days, and this is what will happen. Again, this is my opinion. It's just the way I think about these things. What I believe will happen with Japan is they will be strong armed. They might also get an extension, but they might get a higher tariff rate because he might want something more in return. Remember, with the Japanese, what's happening in America is they're automakers, right? Toyota is selling so many cars and so much into America that there is a large trade deficit of these Japanese automakers by itself, which Trump wants to tariff. And I believe that when he actually did the deal with Nippon Steel and US Steel, that was a way where I actually started believing that the Japanese and him can come to terms on a few things. Now, if they can come to terms on this US Steel and Nippon Steel merger, which was actually something that Trump was against. So now that he's come to terms to actually get it all done together, I believe that eventually the Japanese will also cave in. They will negotiate better. He's saying, okay, I will tax you or tariff you 35%. So crap. Don't worry so much about it. We've seen enough of these things happen on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and all of them reverse on a Monday morning, right? So with Japan and EU, I believe that it's going to eventually go through. Vietnam, I believe, will happen between the July 4th to July 9th trade deadline. The Vietnamese will agree to whatever the Americans say. They're already agreeing to it, right? Like this, the stuff that I just read out, where the Vietnamese are currently coming out and saying that, yeah, we're okay with a 10% base rate and a tiered tariff of 20%. And currently, what we know is that the Vietnamese Prime Minister has expressed optimism that a deal could be reached before July 9th. So, if the Prime Minister itself says that, then it looks like they don't want the 46% tariff rate, right? Remember, Vietnam was being tariffed at 46%. The reason I'm talking so much about Vietnam is because a lot of US goods, textiles, clothing, shoes come from Vietnam into America and get sold into America. Biggest beneficiaries Nike, Gap, and Lululemon. These stocks can skyrocket next 2 to 3 weeks if you get the trade deal done between the Vietnamese and Americans. To a large extent, with Lululemon, Nike, they've been slumped in price, right? So they've been pretty screwed badly. The prices have not, the stock prices have not recovered that much compared to the other. Let's say, obviously, they're never going to recover as much as the AI trades, but it does look like they can recover. They can have a good second half. My belief is the S&P would be at 66, 6,700 by the end of December, January, somewhere around there. You could see the Nasdaq hitting 23,000, 24,000. I think 23 is too close, but 24 might still be possible. 24,000 could come through. Post which, I mean, you could just be flying, right? I mean, at the moment, even if you go look at the Dow, right, the Dow is actually just about 1.3% away from an all-time high. Do remember that the Dow was lagging. So the Dow was actually being bought yesterday, while the Nasdaq and the S&P and the Russell were sold. The Russell eventually closed flat, but the S&P and the Nasdaq were actually down yesterday. 0.2% down, and the S&P was down 0.1. Most huge stocks, big stocks, Netflix, Spotify, all of these down 5.5, 6%. A lot of utilities and money started rolling back into the Dow Jones, right? Today, what we're also seeing is post the ADP numbers, you are seeing the 10-year bond yield pick up. So which is at 1.25% higher at 4.295. You do want to see the 10-year bond yield breaking 4 and heading lower. While that happens, you will see consumer demand picking up. You will also see construction spending picking up. You will see real estate picking up. A lot of that things hold a lot of value. So these are some forms of moves that can actually happen. This is something that I wanted to talk to you guys about, which is why I started the live a little bit earlier, because I wanted 15 to 20 minutes before we open, or half an hour before we open, I wanted to talk about these few things, saying where do I think where the market's going to go, what do I think is going to happen with the trade deals, what is exactly going to be happening with all of these situations that are currently at play, whether we do enter into a prolonged bear market. My belief is year 3, which is currently the year that we're in, is going to be choppy. We might see a 5 to 10, 15% rally. We're not going to see a 20, 25% rally. I would be very surprised if this year closes 20% higher. Would I want it? Maybe. But if we do get a 20, 25% rally this year, which means another 20% in the next 6 months, I don't think that's going to happen. It's too much to ask for. But if it does, do remember in that scenario, what will play out is we're just front running a lot of the next 2 years' gains this year. That's not a good sign. What are we? We're about 10 minutes away from opening. So let's just go and see what's happening with the market. We're down about 45 on the NASDAQ, 0.2%. So we have recovered. We were down about close to 0.5%. So we have recovered. A lot of it has got to do with Tesla. Tesla was down or pretty much flat. Now it's up about 4.24%. So it was actually up about 7% at one point of time. Now it's up about 4%. So let's see. Some of these stocks, Trade Desk flat, Reddit flat, Affirm down about 1.25, Lemonade down about 0.8. Chime is down about 1.2. Chime actually had a pretty bad day yesterday, down 6%. So Let's see if that reverses. It's one of the IPOs that has not actually done well. Now, if you actually want to see this actually do well, you need it to break 36. If it does break 36, I think 41, 42 can be on the way. If that happens, you could head to new highs and higher. So 36 is the big play here. Anyways, so let's wait for the market to open. Let's see what's actually going to be happening here. Okay. I'm just trying to see if there is anything crazy in any stock that's currently going through. Tesla has given up some of its gains, up about 7, now up only about 4.2. So it hasn't really done that well. Yeah, up about 4.3. Let me see crypto what's currently happening. Yeah, flat 107. It's been playing in that range. Where day's low was about 105,000, so we're back again to 107. Not really been doing too much. So dead. But that's actually good because remember, these pullbacks are actually bullish when you actually see them happen. Oil's picked up a percent, nothing actually that important. What else am I looking at? Gold is up about 0.14. Silver is picking up 0.72. Silver had a bad 2 weeks or a week, and then now it's been picking up. So looks like it's going to head towards higher highs for silver as well. Silver actually had the second June period was a period where it went up 10%, and that's actually huge to see commodities go up that much. Okay, we are seeing the dollar index picking up as well, so that's a decent sign. Though, do remember that American companies make a lot more money with a weaker dollar. So 97 on the US dollar. The lows were 96.40. So we're up about 0.4%. If any of you get a chance ever, go and check out the chart of platinum against US dollar. Platinum used to trade in April at about $890. It trades at about 1400 US dollars at the moment. So 890 all the way up to 1400. So that's saying something, right? Anyways, the Chinese stock markets were flat. The Hang Seng Tech was down about 0.64. Most of the Chinese stocks are supposedly going to be closing. There is an AI company, AI large language model that is going to be coming out by Baidu. So I want to actually have a look at that. It's called Ernie, ERNIE. Let's actually have a look and see how it actually does when it actually does come out. It's supposed to be making it more AI friendly. It's introducing AI driven video creation tools. So Baidu's trying to get into all of that. Let me see what the highs for Baidu were and what it's currently at. It used to trade at about 354. It's currently trading at 86. Now that was during the highs of 2021. Do remember Baidu has been trading in this range from 2010. So investors have not made any money if they had invested in the past 15 years in Baidu. So okay, that's what it is. Anyways, let's close this US Vietnam. Let me just see if we have some more data coming out. Rivian reports a 22% fall in quarterly deliveries as tariffs hit demand. Okay. The House is going to vote today on Trump's 3.4 trillion mega bill. Let's see. Yep. So let's just wait. Let's see how the market's going to open. Should be opening in about another 5 to 6 minutes. So let's see how that plays out. At the moment, we're looking at about 39, 40 points down. Let me actually see what's happening at Microsoft because they are saying that they're going to be laying off 9,000 workers. That's actually a huge number. It's not small by any measure. Okay, let's see. It is up. No, it's down about 0.5%, but that's nothing. That's literally nothing. Most of the stocks have also paid most of their losses. It's not really been that much. You are seeing Tesla is the only one that's up about 5%. That's the only one that's moving that much on the index. Let me see something on the S&P. We have anything that is currently, what in the world is CNC? Centene Corporation, a $28 billion company, has withdrawn its 2025 forecast due to new industry data showing a significant drop in expected revenue. It's pulling its forecast on revenue pressure from Obamacare plans. The stock is down 32%. Incredible. Centene move to withdraw guidance sparks growth concerns. Deutsche Bank adjusts price targets to 63. Guys, it's trading at 38. What are you adjusting a price target to 63 for? From 72 to 63. What are these guys smoking? Anyways, okay. So we have good context here says there is slower pace of labor force growth and a lower break-even pace of payroll growth is both expected and won't feel great as these numbers roll in. Okay, let's see how that plays out. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that I have the numbers for tomorrow's non-farm payroll. What we're expecting is a fall of 19,000 jobs. Previously, we were at 139. We're now expecting that number to come in at 120K. We should get a number above 100,000. ADP came at a negative 33. So if we do get a negative non-farm payroll, you guys can enjoy the fall. If we do get a number around the 100K as well, that will be a good number considering that we had a negative 33K number on ADP. If that comes through, you should see the markets rally. Unemployment rate most likely will come to 4.3. It was pretty close to at 4.24 last time. So in a rounding error, even a 4.26 would eventually make it look like a 4.3. If we don't, and if we actually see a 4.3, remember this is directly correlated to what Jerome Powell has been saying, which has been that if the numbers start looking good, he cannot say that July he will not be cutting, which means he is practically data dependent, and the data currently is showing to him that if the unemployment rate stays steady, if the non-farm payroll numbers stay steady, if we see our average hourly earnings staying steady, we should see the market actually going higher. And that would purely be based on the fact that instead of two rate cuts that the Fed currently has in their summary of economic projections, we would be looking at three rate cuts possibly. Quite possible that that happens. And three would eventually move to four, possibly higher. If those kind of things happen, you will see markets moving higher, and you will get to my 10% in the second half of the year target for the S&P from a 6,000 level. So I would say 6,600 is what I would be expecting it to get to. Okay, let's just see if we have more stocks or anything that plays around. ELV is a stock that does Element's Health down about 5%. I guess that's down because CNC is down about 32, 33%. So that's the effect there. Okay, most of the healthcare stocks have got their ass whooped today. So they're down like 12%, 13%, 5%. CNC being down 32, 33 is basically killed it for them. Okay, this was the company that actually had pretty bad earnings, Ross Stores, and they took away their guidance. And the stock fell about 10% on that day. Okay, Tesla is up only about 4%, so it's actually given up about half of its gain, close to half of its gain that it had when the numbers came out. That's not a good sign. Israeli PM Netanyahu vows to eliminate Hamas, saying there will not be a Hamas, there will not be a Hamas done. We're not going back to that. It's over. Okay, cool. There's nothing new about that, so don't really, nothing to waste my time talking about it. Okay, so we're good. We should be opening in about 15. 30 seconds. So let me just make the final tally out here. 34 points down on the Nasdaq. We have recovered largely for the day from the lows. Let's see if we can take out the 500 number, the 572 number, which was the daily high. Just trying to see if we can see something more coming out. China's down about 2.4, so that's actually selling off. A firm's reversed from a number at all. So let's see how that plays out. Will Shuru says he has no chill. Yeah, he does. But the handwritten note yesterday was the best part. That actually killed it. Anyways, guys, so we have like a pretty dead open, 30 points down. There's nothing actually playing out from a news perspective at this moment. Markets are flat. Dow is down about 200. No, Dow is flat, up about 5 points. So the Dow is improving. You are seeing the Nasdaq improve as well, eventually heading into positive territory. Not looking that bad at this moment. The Russell 2000. So these are few things that I am looking at. One of it is the Russell 2000, which is RUT as a ticker, and I have seen that making a difference. It is looking like the Russell 2000 will outperform, which is a small cap index, will outperform the S&P and the Nasdaq. It has not done that in quite a while, but I do believe that this time it will. I actually do believe that in the second half of this year, with the amount of deregulation and the effects of the tax cuts coming through, I think you will see small caps actually doing well. Vaishwin says that he's used handwritten notes all day today and his life has already changed. See, there you go. Anyways, guys, so everything else looks pretty normal. You're not seeing anything crazy happening in the market at this moment. So nothing really to talk to you much about at this moment. So we're not going to waste our time here. Just let's actually see when something actually happens. Anyway, so if there is something great that goes around, we will have a post-market live. You guys should join in for that. Otherwise, we will be doing the non-farm payroll tomorrow. Numbers come in at 8:30, so we should be start beginning our show at about 8:20, 8:25. So come in for that. The non-farm payroll tomorrow will be the decider as to whether we get July rate cuts or no. So, anyways, nice talking to you guys. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you.